But the Cleveland Guardians have hit 8 home runs in 5 spring training games.
That is correct. But I do want to say the Chase the Louder home run, Steve, take tag board full, traveled far enough to be 2. So in my own personal record books, they have hit 9 home runs in 5 games.
Yeah, I see what you did there. Yeah, take a look at this, guys. I mean, he Cadillacked it. He stood there and admired it, and why not? That thing was out of the park. So, yeah, they've got 8 in 5 games. Now, last year in the regular season, they finished dead last, and they were dead last by a lot. Yeah. I think they had 127 in 162 games.
Correct.
It's abysmal, particularly when you consider there was a team that hit more than 300 in the regular season last year. Is this a fluke? Is it a product of the Guardians making a philosophical change at the plate? Because Will Brennan told me at spring training that, oh, yeah, this is being talked about. We're pivoting from being a contact team to not suddenly becoming a power team, but we want to hit more home runs. How is this happening? Why is this happening?
Focal point. Listen, the thing about being an athlete, you hear the noise. All season, that's the only thing everybody's talking about. Y'all ain't got no sticks, G. Bush. We ain't got no sticks. The games aren't exciting because we're not hitting home runs. You hear that for a whole offseason. You know what you do that whole offseason? You do more push-ups. You know, you start getting at that plate and you start focusing on hitting home runs. And I think that becoming the focal point of an offseason has translated to them guys, especially in spring ball. Go out there, swing for the fences. And they making some really good contact right now. I'm on record already saying that they're going to be a top 5 team in home runs this year. So they got to.
Wow.
I said it last year. I said it last year on the show. So they're proving me right.
And you were wrong last year.
No, because I didn't say. I said for this upcoming season they will be top 5. I didn't say they'd be first. I said they'd be top 5 in home runs.
This is a pipe dream. This is a made-up story. There is no way, you know what?
What?
The Guardians is hitting bombs like this.
What you mean?
They just don't have power hitters. Is Miles Straw still on the team?
Did you not just see that home run just get hit?
Hey, we talk about preseason all the time. I think the most useless preseason games happen to be in baseball. I mean, pitchers is out there like, listen, let me go out there and I'm going to only throw curveballs. That's all they worked on. And they go out there and be like, you know what, Jay? Let me just do a bullpen session. Let me get through 21 pitches. I'm going to throw all fastballs, see if I can locate it. This don't count.
Do you agree that if you do it once, you can do it again?
That logic works for Mighty Mites and little children playing in hot stove. That works.
So you bomb that thing, you can do it. You can hit a home run again.
Well, listen, all these guys can hit. Miles Straw can hit home runs. By the way, Miles Straw added 10 pounds in the offseason, and it's all muscle. He's completely redeveloped his body. And that tells you what, to your point, they hear the noise. All of the players that I spoke to, either nobody was as emphatic as Will. Will's like, oh, yeah, we've moved our philosophy. Our point on the horizon has moved. Others put it a little differently in saying, look, we knew that we didn't have success last year, and you got to keep up with the times. Stephen Kwan talked about that. You've got to be relevant. You've got to play the game that's being played around you. And the game that's being played around them is the 3-run home run. And I do think that there is definitely an added emphasis this season on home runs. Now, I don't know that that's necessarily coming from the Tito to Stephen Vogt switch. I think these points on the horizon are developed by the front office and the organization as a whole. And they were all in on the contact and run. It worked in 2022. They made a nice little playoff run before losing to a team that hit home runs, the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
After watching last year unfold, I think it was Will Brennan brought up this point. They lost 31 games last year by 1 run. That's astonishing. That's almost half their losses.
Yeah.
With this pitching staff, they are going to be in the vast majority of games.
Yes.
If you can average a half a home run a game more this year than they did last year, which is very doable, extremely doable, you turn half of those 31 losses into wins. You win 16 more games last year, you walk to a division title. You walk there. So I think this is a good move by the organization to pivot. Mikey, is there a way that we can figure out how many home runs they hit last spring training?
By the end of the show, I'll have that.
Okay, because I only ask that because that would be an apples-to-apples comparison. As for why they're hitting more home runs this year in spring training, I think, yeah, they're taking more chances with swings, not afraid to swing and miss. But I also, look, It's not hard to hit home runs in spring training games. You're pitching against pitchers that no one has ever heard of and that will likely not be on major league rosters. The first 5 games the Guardians played, they didn't start any of their starters, of their 5 starting pitchers. Yesterday, I think Xavier Curry got a start, and then yesterday I think was the first day where Gavin Williams threw. He's going to be one of the 5 starting pitchers. It's the first time they threw one of their starters. So a lot of things happen in spring training that you can't carry over to the regular season. I would be curious to see how many home runs they hit last spring training because that's an apples to apples. But I do think they're not going to finish last in home runs this year. They are going to hit more than 127. They will not finish in the top 5.
Ever.
That's a massive leap.
Stop it.
They won't.
The Rays did.
You've got the Dodgers and the Braves hitting 300 home runs.
I didn't say
2 home runs a game. I know, but the disparity between where they are now and the middle of the pack is a huge leap.
You have no faith, Jay.
I have a lot of faith.
You have no faith.
But my eyes don't lie. And I don't think they can go from last to 5th.
We'll see.
We will see. Talk to you in October. All right.
All right, Jay, this next question is something we got a lot online. Anytime we've asked fans for viewer comments or viewer questions over the last 2 weeks, we've gotten this one, so I figured it's a perfect time to bring it up here. And we got it from a bunch, so I didn't put any specific name to this via social media, but just know we listen and we see your guys' questions. If Jimmy Haslam does decide to move the Browns to Brook Park, build a new stadium out there, will the team change either its nickname, its colors, its logos, none of the above, all of the above, one of the 3? What say you?
I'm very disappointed that more than one fan would ask this. I'm being dead serious now.
It's crazy.
There were multiple fans that fired this question
I would say upwards of at least a dozen.
Wow. You know why this is a question, right? Because secretly, some people don't like the Browns' colors and scheme.
You can change your colors. The Buccaneers did it. You can change your colors without changing your name or the city in which you play. There is not a city called Tampa Bay. That city does not exist.
That's true.
There is not. The New York Jets and the New York Giants, not only do they not play in New York State,
play in Jersey.
They don't play in New York City.
Yeah.
They don't call them the New Jersey Giants or the Meadowland Jets.
Actually, a lot of teams don't play.
Think about that. I would like to know what the number is.
City.
I bet it would be upwards of half of the league. When the Lions played in Pontiac, they weren't the Pontiac Lions. The fact that the Los Angeles Rams and the Los Angeles Chargers do not play in the city of Los Angeles. I believe that's Inglewood, or another suburb of LA.
Inglewood, correct.
When you look at people asking this question, there's a couple of teams who will never change their look jersey colors. The Cleveland Browns will always have brown jerseys. This area is very conservative. They will never allow certain changes. The helmet will always look the same.
Like the Cowboys.
The Cowboys. Like
the Steelers.
Steelers never
It's
change
iconic.
anything. You know, the people
is.
and the name, and I think there's legislation where the name can't go anywhere else. Like when the Browns moved the first time, they fought for the name. They fought for the colors. So
and the records.
So it's like Brook Park. No, every other team nationally does not play in the city limits. It's just all about finding the land for the stadium. Brook Park won't even be mentioned. They'll be like, live from Cleveland, Ohio. It's the Browns versus Bengals.
And they might, in that open, they might say, live from Brook Park, Ohio. When they showed like shots of the Silver Dome and stuff, they would say Pontiac, Michigan, but they're never called the Pontiac
Palace,
Lions.
Auburn Hills.
Yes, the Dallas Cowboys don't play in Dallas.
Arlington.
So I just think that I'm disappointed more than anything.
We're behind.
It's like when a parent says, the worst thing a parent could say to you is, I'm disappointed.
Maybe
because I have more expectations of our fans to think that we would actually now suddenly become the Brook Park.
What does our logo look like, anyways?
Well,
like if you was to
question.
say the Browns logo, what would you?
Lately it's been the elf. They brought the elf back.
You didn't see the dog?
I mean, yeah,
I'm disappointed, Tyvis. You played for the Browns.
No, but the helmet don't have nothing on it.
I mean, they're not going, but they do have stuff in the middle of the field, and they did come up with a nice little, I guess, dog. Like they had
got a dog. They've got the
fans
elf.
submitted.
I think the problem is that you bring up a good point. We do have a bit of an identity crisis. Are we elves? Are we dogs?
Yeah.
Like, what are we?
We don't have cheerleaders or a band.
No. There's no pomp and circumstance.
And we used to have all of the pomp and circus. I've been watching a lot of old '80s Browns games, and all of them talk about everybody. Dan Marino came in there in 1993 or something during Monday Night Football, and they all talk about the dog pound. They all talk about Cleveland. Now it's just kind of like, maybe, by the way, if you're listening, if you go back to Brook Park, can you bring back the dog pound? Make it unsullied down there. No children allowed in the dog pound. Don't bring your infants. We want it back to the junkyard dogs in the end zone. Can we get that off?
Yeah, corporate has taken over that wing of sport. And we'll never see that again.
The Jets game, it felt dog poundish. A lot of barking going on.
It did, but you know what? You never saw
it wasn't rowdy. It ain't rowdy.
As someone who sat multiple times in the real dog pound, trust me, there is nothing that even comes close to that.
Yeah.
At Cleveland Brown Stadium.
The good old days.
We got to take a break. When we come back, we ask the question: is Tristan Thompson the most important Cleveland Cavalier, or